Okay, we are live. Today is a bit more difficult. The chapter of Rambam is a bit more difficult than the days before. So try to use your head a little bit more, because now the Rambam is going to go into science. Because he said yesterday and the day before that we must know God and love God. The way we love God is by learning in the Torah descriptions about God, like the whole Psalms written by King David is all about the mountains, the sea. So when you read those chapters and you contemplate what you're saying, then you will generate a love for Hashem. So the Rambam is writing in the Rambam basic concepts for you to arouse in your heart love for God. Now these things are not just regular science; it's science which got into the book of the Rambam, which means every word over here is written with God, Ruach HaKodesh, divine knowledge. So it's not just random science, very important science in order to make us love Him and never stop loving Him. Okay, so let's start. There are 9 galgalim. Galgalim are sort of circles surrounding the world. The first surrounding our world, there's 9 galgalim. Surrounding our world, there's galgalim, circles, atmospheres. The first one is where the moon is. The second one is where there's a star called star. The third one it's called Lega, light. The fourth is where the sun is. The fifth is called Maidim. The sixth is where there's a star called Sedek. The next one is called Shapside, and the eighth is where all the other stars are. The ninth circle is what circles everything 24 hours. Of course, these circles are not, you can't see them, you can't touch them, but they actually are a creation. And they're sort of an entity for itself, which you can't see, invisible. Not like angels, but more invisible that we can't see them with our eyes. Now, of course, there's many other ones, but these are the most general concepts, 9, and all the other ones are all turning other directions, and the 9th is what turns it every 24 hours. And like we said about Abraham, when he was figuring out that there's a God, his proof is that the concept that every 24 hours is a new day and a new night, he couldn't explain how, in his little brain, he was thinking until 40. It took him 40 years, like Rabbi Akiva, took 40 years, so it took him 40 years to figure out that there's a God. So in those 40 years, he was thinking very hard. He realized that it's impossible to explain the 9th, which means the full turn every 24 hours, how it turns day and night, every single exactly to the minute. He couldn't find any explanation, but that there's someone in charge turning everything around. Now, as I said before, they're not heavy, they're not light, it's a different type of existence, but it's sort of an energy type of thing which turns everything. Now, the Rambam and the way Judaism looks at the world is that the world is the center. The way science looks at the world is that the sun is the center. The way we look at the world is that the center of everything is the world, and in the world itself, it's us. God created everything for the human being. There might be life, the Rebbe said there might be life in a different planet. There could be anything, but God's vision, His mission is us. We're His children. And He created us on this world for us to do His mitzvahs and make this place a place for Him to live. So everything is surrounding the world. Now, there is 12 months of the year. There's also 12 symbols in the sky which circulate the world. And it's called Tu'aimim, which means twins. Sartan, which means, starts over saying there's the lamb, the ox, the twins, crab, the lion, the virgin, the scales, the scorpion, the bow, the goat, the bucket, and the fish. So these are the reason why we give these names to these stars, these 12 stars, is because it's the shape. It's a Jewish thing, yes. The shapes is like, a scorpion, or whatever it is. The month of is, I'm not sure what the month of is, but I know other is fish. That I know. Yeah, actually it's a lion. You're right. It's a lion because it says that Allah Aryeh, which means God, which is the lion. Allah Aryeh, the Mazel Aryeh, in the Mazel, which these are called Mazalis, came up in the Mazel of Aryeh, to destroy Arya, which is the Beis Hamikdash. So there you go. We're in right now. The month of Av is the month of Lion. So the reason why we're placing all these things, it's not exactly in the exact same angle of the sun turns around the world, but it's somewhat a circle, and therefore we judge according to that these stars. Now, again, what we're talking about in day one is that according to the Rambam, according to the Torah, everything in the sky has a brain. Not necessarily have freedom of, they don't have freedom of choice, but they know where they're going, and they move with their intellect. Which means if they would not be sort of moving on purpose a certain way, then everything would just crumble and crash. The reason why everything exists the way it exists without hitting each other is because they know where they're going. Okay, fine. Now we finished with the sky. We're reaching this earth. The earth has 4 parts to it. There is wind, there's water, there's land, and there's fire. It starts off with fire, then it goes to wind, then it goes to water, and then it goes to earth. And that is the reason why the wind is on top of the water is on top of the earth. Now, the difference of this and everything else that God created is that everything else God created has intellect, like I said before. The only thing that is dead is these 4 things: fire, water, earth, and air. Every single thing that's in this world is created from all of these 4. The question is how much do they have of each one? And according to that, how much, that's how much his nature depends upon. So for example, if somebody's very hot-headed, there's a lot of fire in it. If somebody's very calm and cold, there's a lot of water. Now the fire is hot and dry. Water is cold and wet. Earth is cold and dry. And air is cold, I guess, hot and dry. Now, with this we finish today, and we are going to explain in the next chapter tomorrow how really everything is circling, which means that everything goes in a circle. So if you have a person, when he dies, where it becomes into the dirt, that becomes into worms. That everything goes in circles and circles. In this world, everything goes in circles. In the higher worlds, in the sun and the moon, everything stays the way it is forever. Nothing changes. So again, the reason why the Rambam is writing all these things is because he's trying to connect us with God. The way we connect with God is through our intellect, through knowing what He made, how He made it. We think about it deeply, and when we learn these laws, these laws, which means these in the Rambam, it's laws, then we generate a love for God. Why do we need to love God? The reason why we need to love God is because every mitzvah we do, every single thing in life, not only mitzvah, every single business, anything has to be infused with passion. It can't be done cold. You have to be like a fire. Right? Now, some people have it easier because they're made out of fire. Some people are made out of water that you have to light it with fire, right? So that we can't have a second of the day that we are not full of fire. We can't have a second of the day that we don't find meaning in what we're doing. A lot of times we feel like we're doing stuff repetitively. We're saying the same chapters in Psalms. We say the same verses in davening. We read the same Torah, but every single day it has to be new. It says in the Torah, every single day, it's as if God commanded you today to do it. And that is the reason why the Jews are in exile. And this is the reason this is the way we're going to get to redemption. The way we get to redemption is when every single thing we're doing it as if we never did it before in our life. As if it's the first time we're putting on stone. And the reason is because, how is it possible? Very simple. Because when you do tefillin today, you did it today. When you do it tomorrow, you do it after you learned the whole day about the precious aspect of mitzvahs, how great mitzvahs are. So when you do it tomorrow, it's a whole new level, as if you never did it before. And the next day, you learn more. And the next day, you learn more. You never stop learning. And then you never stop appreciating the mitzvahs. And every single day has to be a bigger fire, not the same fire, bigger fire. And every day, bigger fire. Till Hashem will say, enough. I'm ready to bring Mashiach. Everyone have a good night.